We're now with Mark Jenkins of AAA Florida. Mark, let's talk about where gas prices are right here, right now in the state. And where are we in terms of record-setting territory?
Well, I mean, we're really close to setting an all-time record. That record currently stands at $4.08. Today, the state average is at $4.01, so about 7 cents off. And I would anticipate that we're going to exceed that record by the end of the week, maybe even tomorrow.
And that record, correct me if I'm wrong, was set when? Was it during that whole recession of 2008 when gas prices went crazy and stayed high for about 4 months?
Right. Yeah. The record high, the state average reached $4.08. Back, did I say 407 earlier? The state average reached $4.08, which is the current record back in July of 2008.
And that was, I remember that particular time. It was that way across the country. What are the circumstances that are different now than they were then, leading to the high prices of gas?
You know, I think that the situation right now is it's an interesting combination because, you know, we're coming out of this pandemic where, you know, things changed dramatically. I mean, back in 2019, the United States was pumping oil at record levels, and then the pandemic happened and people stopped traveling as much. They were staying at home. They weren't driving or flying as much. And so a lot of countries, the United States included, had to look at cutting back on their oil output because, quite frankly, they were losing money. I mean, there was a glut in crude oil supplies on a worldwide stage. So, you know, again, many countries were dialing back on how much oil they were putting out. Then you fast forward into 2021 and all that demand comes roaring back. The vaccine is more readily available. People feel more confident traveling. They're flying again. But a lot of the countries are still pumping out oil at the same rate. So you have a situation where demand is beginning to outpace supply, or at least the market is tightening to a degree to where it's more balanced. Now it's a situation where we have a conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And Russia is the third largest oil producer in the world. And so with sanctions and regulations beginning to take effect, you know, there's even though, you know, the sanctions might not necessarily be directed at the Russian oil, it's still having an impact on Russia's ability to put that oil on the market. And so you have an oil market that was already very tight before this situation. And now the situation is just exacerbated a great deal. And that's causing prices to rise. I mean, oil prices were rising even before this conflict, but now they're really skyrocketing because of all the uncertainty around it.
Let's talk about Russia for a minute, because it's pretty well known that even though Russian oil isn't making it to market, there's no Russian gas per se that is into the pumps in Palm Beach counties or along the Treasure Coast counties. So how is that still causing a rise in the prices that we pay here?
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, people have to kind of take a step back and look at things from a global scale. I mean, you know, the price of oil, whether it's pumped out of the ground, whether oil is pumped out of the ground here in the United States or over in Russia or in Mexico, it goes on the global futures market. And that market is dictated, or at least you know, moved by global supply and demand. And so what we pay here at the pump in Florida is influenced by the price of oil that's traded on that global stock market or futures market. And so when there's that concern about supplies, then you see prices increase. And so a lot of the gasoline, while it comes to Florida from the Gulf Coast, the price for the oil that is then bought by the refineries to then produce gasoline is what is influenced by the global supply and demand factors that we talked about.
Where is the gas that's in the pumps locally in our part of Florida? Where does that largely come from?
Yeah, so Florida is predominantly supplied by refineries over in the Gulf Coast of Mexico. So, you know, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, which is why whenever we see a hurricane that moves toward those states, we get a little nervous because that's our supply line. And you know, if those refineries shut down, we tend to see gas prices increase as a result because that's a supply interruption. No different than a situation like this. You know, it's not so much that we're concerned. Actually, the situation is quite different now. I mean, it's not so much that we're concerned about our gasoline supplies because our supply line to those refineries in the Gulf Coast has not been interrupted. It's more about a question of how much is it costing to produce that gasoline? The oil that's coming in is much more expensive now. And so that raises the cost of producing that gasoline. The retailers who bring it in, they have a higher cost now. And so they have to pass that along to the consumers.
Where, when the crude that goes into the Gulf Coast refineries, where is that coming from?
Yeah, I mean, that comes from underground. I mean, a lot of it comes from the United States, offshore oil rigs and the like. The United States does import crude oil from Canada. I'd say that Canada is the largest supplier. About 50% of our imports come from Canada. Less than 10% come from Russia. So, this situation with not having Russian oil on the market is not as much of a supply concern for the United States, but it can be a concern for some of those other countries that do rely on it. So now they're having to go shopping somewhere else. And, again, there's only so much oil to go around. And so, when there's a huge demand for something, then that price increases. I mean, it's just like, if there's a really popular toy or something else, like let's say during Christmas time, and there's a popular toy out there in the market, then, I think the prices tend to increase when there's so much demand for it.
Let's talk about why oil is more expensive to produce now, how much that's contributing to the spike, and what was different about the cost of producing than it was, say, even as recently as 2018, 2019.
Yeah, and it's all just, again, down to supplies. I mean, there was a glut in global oil supplies back in 2019. Again, the United States was pumping out oil at record levels. And then during the pandemic, a lot of countries had to dial back how much oil they were putting out because they were operating at a loss, quite frankly. And so now in the current conditions, even in the past year or so, a lot of publicly traded oil companies have had to answer to their investors. The investors that remember back in 2019, we were losing money because the market was flooded with oil. So they're having to be a little bit more conservative with the actions that they take. And so they haven't been as quick to just flood the market with oil and see prices plummet. And the same was true for OPEC. OPEC and its allies had to reduce their oil output into the market. And then, throughout the past year or so, they've been steadily making small increases in their oil production output, which is, not really having a significant impact on oil prices. Of course, OPEC likes to see oil prices higher because they prefer to make more money off of it.
Let me ask you this too. Do you see an end in sight?
I personally, it's really hard because there's so much volatility. There's so much uncertainty. I mean, we don't know how long the situation between Russia and Ukraine is going to play out. With prices being as high as they are, that could certainly entice a lot of oil producing companies to ramp up their production levels. There's the question of the Iran nuclear agreement and whether that's revisited. If there's an agreement that's reached, then Iran could reintroduce some of its oil back into the market to help alleviate some of the strain. So there's a lot of question marks out there. And so we just really don't know.
Anything else to add?
No, I mean, it's been such a tough time for consumers. I mean, gas prices have increased dramatically just in the past year. Oil prices are up about 143% since the beginning of 2021. Gas prices shot up about 50 cents during the past week. I would anticipate another 10 to 15 cent increase based on, recent movements in the price of crude oil. So unfortunately, looking at things very short term, the pain at the pump could continue to worsen before it gets better. How high they're going to go, we just don't know. It really depends on where oil prices go from here. There's a lot of speculation about $5 a gallon gasoline, $6 a gallon gasoline. That's currently not really in the cards based on where oil is right now. We'd have to see maybe a $40 increase in crude oil in order to get to about $5.
You don't see that happening?
I just don't know. I mean, again, anything is possible. We didn't necessarily see $4 a gallon in the cards for this year, but things can change, and they are changing rapidly.
Thank you, Mark Jenkins, AAA Florida. Appreciate your knowledge and expertise on this.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.